Buenas tardes, gente linda. Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back to Out of Touch. I'm your chipper and jovial host, kaiclips, Kai Schwemmer. I really got to figure out which one of those names I'm going to stick with because kaiclips is Kino, but Kai Schwemmer is the brand. That's me. So, and I want to run for office eventually, so I'm going to have to decide. Whatever way we decide to go, one thing remains true. Kai is your guy. That's one thing that absolutely remains true. And guys, I don't even want to jinx it, but we're not dropping any frames today at all. This is the most beautiful stream. This is the most wonderful, fantastic thing that we've seen in a long time. And speak of the angel. Speak of the angel. Haven't even seen you guys in a long time. It's been like 2 weeks. I'm sorry, guys. Finals week has got me stressed. Finals week has had me cooked and cooking simultaneously. But we are back. This was overdue. I always love streaming during the holiday season. A year ago today, I did a stream in a Christmas hat, a little Santa hat. I did a red shirt. It was amazing. Today, I've only got a red tie, but I bought a bunch of red ties for the holiday season. Here, I'll take off my tie pin so you guys can check that out. Isn't that beautiful? Is that not such a beautiful tie? And then it's, I think it's a fake Giorgio Armani. Oh, no. It's Ungaro, Paris. No clue what brand that is. I got it off eBay. I can't even lie with you guys. But anyway, I was just, dude, I hate to tell you, but I was actually just cheating on you guys too. If any of you guys caught that, I was just live on Instagram with Postman during the intro to the stream. We had a little bit of fun. We chatted. We were reminiscing about how right as I received my mission call for the first day that I had it, I went into the cozy.tv chat, which is where I was streaming at the time. I went into the chat and I made, I added a flag to it. I tried to add the Argentine flag, which is, blue, white, blue with the sun in the middle. I looked up on like Giphy or whatever it was. I looked up Argentina, hoping I would be able to find a sticker of the Argentine flag. And what I actually found was the Guatemalan flag, which looks almost identical to the Argentine flag, except it's blue, white, blue, aligned vertically rather than horizontally. And in the middle, instead of a sun, it's got like a wreath and then like a scroll and a bird. So that was a little goofy, but it's just fun going down memory lane like that. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. I just got back from the gymnasium. We had a massive push day. I saw 2 buddies there. One buddy I haven't seen in a long time, and then the other buddy I just met tonight, so that was a lot of fun. And we've got very exciting stuff happening. Very exciting news to break. One thing that is a little bit, disheartening is that we still have no news. We still have no news concerning the new Jubilee video that was filmed with Adam Mockler. We have no news about that. No clue what's going on there. Zeke says he's hitting chest and back. The good old Arnold split. That guy's huge. Friends of the show, old heads of the show, longtime viewers will know that our buddy Zeke in the chat actually once was featured on the Out of Touch live stream. Is that not crazy? Once or twice, now that I think about it. But hey, that's a bit of an esoteric reference. And, we've got Nefarious Titan in the chat. He says, real ones remember this way back since 2021. Those are the real ones. We've got Savs Master 2. What'd you do on Jubilee? We talked with Adam Mockler. It was 1 college dropout versus 20 conservative college students. We've got Sneaks in the chat. Brenosh. We've got Nefarious Titan. We just said that. Benjamin Vandenberg 9726. Great to see you guys in the chat, genuinely. And Zeke, of course. Yeah, the ear rape episode. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, anyway, fellas, let's get down to business to defeat the Foids. Dude, I should have put this all on the list. I always forget about something. First thing is, yes, that Jubilee video should be coming out eventually. It should already be out. All of the other videos that were filmed on that same weekend are out. But that just means that, it never gets further away. every day it just gets closer, okay? So that's something to take comfort in. The next thing to mention, next week I will be in Phoenix for TPUSA's America Fest. So I don't know if any of you plan to be there. I cannot wait to see you guys there. Going to be legendary. Austin, what's going on? Austin in the chat, along with Braden Keller. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Oh, also, rules of order. Hey, if you do want to support the show, I forgot to mention this. For the if you're feeling cheery, if you're feeling like giving during this holiday season, be sure to show your support at powerchat.live/kaiclips. We love any support that you guys are willing to send over that way. If you're feeling generous during the holiday season, it is much appreciated. And hey, speaking of, next week, I love this season. It's a season of giving. It's also my birthday season in 6 days. So in a little less than a week, I will be having my birthday, and I'm probably going to do a birthday live stream. I'll probably be doing a birthday live stream just because I've done that every single year that I've been here to do one, and I love them. So we might like bring you guys on to chat. We might play some video games. I just love the birthday live stream. Always goes hard. And today, wait, hold on. There's more to say. So yeah, going to be in Phoenix. That's going to be based. Today, dude, not today, but this week. This week has been a rough week for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this Minecraft YouTuber. What was this guy's name? I wasn't familiar with him until a buddy of mine told me about it. RecRap1. Are you guys familiar with this guy, RecRap1? RecRap1 is a Minecraft YouTuber. Unfortunately, left the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this week. We lost a real one, fellas. We lost a real one. And then not only that, there was this stupid video. What's up, Dinkelberg in the chat? We had this stupid video by this guy. What's this guy's name? Bo Euler. His name, by the way, is literally like Boy Euler. Like, what's going on? I know his name is Bo Euler, but it's basically Boy Euler. Bro's name physiognomy, not scoring him any points. Your name is Boy Euler. But anyway, he did an interview with Soft White Underbelly. I don't even know what the flip that is. It's got like 6 million subscribers on YouTube. That's not a joke. That's like actually the amount. And they do these like interviews or these like one-on-one kind of like, I don't know, they just talk to people about kind of their lives and whatnot. And he did this interview, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It's like, this guy was a bishop in the church without ever knowing that like Joseph Smith practiced polygamy. Like, I don't know how that happened. Like, I don't know what it is. And Zeke's saying that the interviews are good. I believe it, but this one sucked. This one was like, bro just straight up, okay, first of all, he's just like super progressive. So a lot of the reasons he didn't like the church was because the church like believes that, you know, trans people who go to church should go to the class that is their sex assigned at birth. So if you were born male, you go to the elders quorum. If you're born female, you go to Relief Society. And it's like, and then he also, like, there was a big problem that he had about aspects of the church, of the church's history. Yeah, Jacob Hansen did a great response. I was actually just watching that today. But you had this one moment where he's like, he's serving as a bishop, and some other bishop or like a stake presidency member or whatever sent him the CES letter. This guy really left the church over the CES letter. And I understand everybody has their struggles with faith, but my brother in Christ, if in the year of our Lord 2025, you are leaving the church because of the CES letter, because of some Reddit atheist slop, r/atheism slop tent, I have very little respect for your religious experience. I don't know, that sounds a little harsh, but I'm not going to, it's very difficult for me to assume that you ever had a very strong testimony to begin with, or that you were ever very invested in keeping it. Because there are answers to the CES letter, and frankly, this is what a lot of people don't like to hear, but a lot of the times people don't want to find answers. People want to have problems because they want an excuse. They want a way out. And it's easier to say, I have like these problems with the church because the CES letter has like 100 reasons. It's much easier to have those reasons and leave the church because of them, even if they're false. It's much easier to leave the church with that kind of a pretense than it is to just say, I don't want to do it anymore. So, anyway, bro couldn't make it past level 1, literally the case. I don't know how this guy ended up as a bishop. That's frankly the more concerning part to me. But simultaneously, as some viewers in the chat have already seen, the big W, the huge white pill about all of this is that, what was this guy's name? What is his name? I actually don't know his name.
We love
Freak. Okay, what's the outdoor boys guy's name? Luke Nichols. Luke Nichols of the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, boasting 18 million subscribers, was recently called and put on to the General Young Men Presidency Advisory Council. Based, super based, in the era in which we have had to cut ties with the Boy Scouts of America because they turned into a bunch of gay liberals, literally. In the age of separating from the Boy Scouts of America, we exist in a vacuum, or existed in a vacuum. There was no good, well-organized, structured young men's organization quite as competent as the Boy Scouts of America were. However, I believe that the church is realizing that, and I also believe that the church is realizing that in social media, they seem to be losing, to a great extent, the war of virality. Not virility, but virality. I believe that the church is realizing that and is putting more of their stock into these LDS influencers, because it was not only Luke Nichols, the creator of the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, with 18 million subscribers on YouTube, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by the way, but also, there was another guy who was added to the General Advisory Council, and he has an Instagram account with like 80,000 followers named True Millennial. That's another based little tidbit that not a lot of people know about. What's more, a guy from My Stake, and now if you're not LDS, you're probably not even, I'm speaking gibberish to you. I'm speaking gobbledygook, not even Ebonics. I'm speaking in tongues. But if you are a member of the church, you'll understand that he was a member of My Stake presidency. He was, I believe, the first or second counselor in My Stake presidency based. So he's also one of the general advisory councils to the Young Men General Presidency. Super based. I really hope that Luke Nichols is able to help advise the Young Men General Presidency and create some kind of curriculum, some kind of standardized organization that is Boy Scout adjacent for the church, because this is something that we really were lacking. You know, there was really nothing that took the place of the Boy Scouts. There's a total vacuum, and if we are able to create something similar, it will be to our infinite benefit. So, very based. Anyway, so yeah, that was another thing that happened this week. What else do we have to talk about? My birthday. That's important. I think that's really it on the recent events on the notifications front. However, there is something that we're going to be talking about today that occurred, and there is also another thing that we're going to be talking about. You saw the title. We're going to be talking about Piers Morgan's total and absolute struggle session that he had yesterday in the aftermath of his interview with Nicolas J. Fuentes, controversial figure. And we're also going to be addressing, this will be our first story today, mail. Now, this is not like your typical unboxing. Also, I feel bad. A.R. Costigan, one of our usual chatters, has been hounding me to get a P.O. box again. And I've been putting it off because I am a lazy guy. I've got finals too. Like I'm relatively busy, okay? But Brenosh, thank you for reminding me. Hold that. Remind me in 1 minute what you just said, okay? Remind me in 1 minute what you just said so I don't get off on a tangent. Anyway, this is A.R. Costigan has been hounding me to get a P.O. box, and unfortunately I've not yet done so. So I don't know if we're going to be able to make it I don't know if we're going to be able to do a Christmas/birthday unboxing this season. We've done them in the past because we've had a P.O. box throughout the year. If you guys are interested in that, I could probably still make one. I also just don't know if it's worth it. Like, back in the day, we had more movement. The P.O. box did really well. It made a lot of sense for me to keep it open. But now I just don't really know. You know, post-mission, the size of the channel has decreased slightly. Won't be that way for long because we're on our generational run. We're on our international run, rather, I should say. We just did an interview today, actually, with a British news channel. So that should be coming out soon. Talking about Charlie Kirk. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just kind of like split on the question of the P.O. box. The cost-benefit analysis there is really what I'm considering. But ooh, Braden says, I can get you a temple replica if you open one for free. Ooh. Okay, hey, that's a good start. You're already talking me into it. But anyway, what we'll be talking about today is a different kind of unboxing, which is of these two pages of paper? Yeah, these 2 pages of paper that were mailed to my house, to me and all my roommates, unmarked from Salt Lake City, with an urgent stamp on it. And what is it? It's libtard propaganda. What do we? So we're gonna be going over that. But Braden, thank you, or Brenosh, my bad. Brenosh, thank you for reminding me. That is the other thing. While we're in Phoenix, we're gonna be getting up to a little bit of trouble. We are gonna be having a little bit of fun because we're going to be debating the soy pill. You guys are familiar with this guy. He's this new liberal who has performative muscles. He's like, oh, I'm a liberal, but I go to the gym, so you can respect me. Because I think liberals kind of realized, you know, it's like none of the guys look very good, and it's very difficult to convince somebody to adopt your worldview if you look like a fat slob. So he's built, and he is actually big. I don't know if he's natty. I haven't checked that. We got to do blood work, but this is a guy who is kind of known like the Chad libtard, and he has a sense of humor. He's kind of out of the he's from the Destiny verse, Destiny Orbiter. We will be debating him as part of the Un-F America tour. Did you know that? You guys heard of the Un-F America tour? This was the tour that Parker and Dean Withers were a part of, that they so tremendously crashed out of because the person running it, whose name is Z, happened to microaggress because she said these people or you people in a live stream with black creators in it. Not a joke, that's real. So Parker and Dean crashed out totally, but the Un-F America tour is going to have Destiny. It's going to feature a bunch of these other liberal creators. They reached out to me, and we will be debating as part of kind of their circuit that's happening alongside America Fest, which is TPUSA's event in Phoenix. We are going to be debating the soy pill. So, yeah. Very excited. You mean Harry Sisson isn't appealing to young men? Yeah. Shocker, right? To be fair, Harry's working out. And Chris Mowry posted that photo of the cat. He was like, hey, real men love cats. And I'm like, you know what, Chris? That's so true. I can't hate you. I can't hate you, Chris. You're so right about that. Real men do love cats. And not in the innuendo sense of the word. But yeah. Also, other news. Sorry, I'm just like updating you guys on everything. Be sure, if you're not yet following the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Rumble, subscribe to the Kick. All of the super chats that you guys send in will be addressed at the end of the show, or maybe in our second hour, where we'll be going over the Piers Morgan interview, or Crash Out rather, his panel discussion. But I've been, first of all, going crazy on Twitter. The other thing you can follow is the TikTok. I'm going to type in the @ to the TikTok because we had so much fun today debating some liberal creators over there. Pleasant Fellow is the name of the TikTok, so be sure to follow us over there. TikTok gets banned a lot. That's the only, that's the downside. But, you know, that's where I grow up, or that's where I grew up. Those are my original stomping grounds. So I really can't leave it behind. I really don't feel like I can. But yeah. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, my Twitter. You guys see this tweet from Turning Point Action? Very interesting, right? So Charlie Kirk dies a little over 4 months ago. A little over 4 months ago, Charlie Kirk dies. And terrible leftist violence, huge opportunity for the right to unite, to coalesce, to like put up a united front against crazy left-wing radicals who assassinate people for their political opinions and speech. What ends up happening? We get Candace Owens, Annie, and Carol talking about trapdoors and palm guns and laser weapons and all that business, all that jazz. But what do we get from TPUSA? Well, here's a tweet from Turning Point Action. And I'm going to show it just because this was so ridiculous. You guys have to see this. I just know you guys are going to love this. You guys are going to love this. Alrighty, who's ready? Who's ready? And actually what we're going to do is we're just going to react to it. Oh, freak. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Sorry, this requires actually a lot more editing than I imagined. Oh, goodness. Goodness glorpus, guys. Okay, I'll just let you watch the video. Here it is. All right, let's see. Can you guys hear the volume? So this is a tweet, or a TikTok rather, from Jeffree Star. Prominent Turning Point conservative influencer Jeffree Star. And it is a zoom in first on, of course, whatchamacallit, the gentleman's room, the gentleman's restroom. And the caption that Jeffree writes out is, "It's not that complicated," with an emoji of a girl and a boy bathroom stuff. Symbol. I don't know what you would call that. But yeah, here is conservative sweetheart, Turning Point sweetheart, Jeffree Star. Now, you look at that. I hope that gentleman is up on the Turning Point USA stage. And to be fair, you know, this is not even a trans bathroom issue. Is Jeffree Star trans? I don't think so. I don't think Jeffree Star is trans. I was under the impression that Jeffree Star was just like, just cross-dressed, like drag. But nonetheless, Turning Point USA, this, I don't know who you posted this for. This is not us. This is like, literally nobody likes that. And it was actually kind of funny. You know, I usually don't laugh at this kind of stuff because it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But what was hilarious to me, even gays for Trump commented, "Not even I like this." So that was like one of these crazy things where it's like, dude, Turning Point USA, who is this for? Literally, who is this for? And then you have the audacity, right? You've got the audacity to, sorry, I'm trying to see this screen here. You've got the audacity to write out this, oh, they deleted it. They deleted the tweet. Oh, that's too good. They deleted the tweet, everybody. This just in. Turning Point realized that literally nobody likes that. And And they wrote the caption originally, "At Jeffree Star understands biology and still chooses the men's bathroom." First of all, Jeffree Star is not even trans. He's just a guy that dresses in women's clothing, like doing drag. So it's not even like a trans bathroom debate. Like you're not even engaging in the debate. You're saying that like, okay, this, straight dude who dresses in drag still goes to the men's bathroom. Well, yeah, Jeffree Star isn't trans. So that's number one. Like, they don't even get the argument that they're making. Like, they don't even understand that. They're basically saying that, well, Jeffree Star, I don't know. I'm not going to assign too much nuance to this, but that's number one. Number two, in what world are we like rooting for somebody dressed like Jeffree Star to go into the men's bathroom? Like, I don't understand why it can't just be... Look, these unisex bathrooms have existed forever. Is it unreasonable to be like, hey, look, if you are dressed in any way that might like kind of like be really, really weird to see in a public restroom, even if, even barring the person being trans, like if you're dressed like Jeffree Star, if you're in a fur costume, if you're dressed as a furry, I don't want you in the bathroom with me. If you have to take off your fursuit to unzip your pants to use the urinal, look, you can just use the unisex bathroom, dude. You can use the family restroom. As long as you're not yiffing in there, that's fine. Okay? And of course, this comes after a long line of just terrible, terrible takes from TPUSA sometimes on their social media where it's like Lady MAGA being promoted or Jeffree Star. You had that tweet from Don Jr. Don't think I forgot about that, Don. Don't you think I forgot about that, Don Jr. We did not forget. You're not off the hook about posting that photo of like some ugly trans person and then posting a picture of, who was it? Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner. And posting liberal trans people versus conservative trans people. Ours are so much hotter. It's like, Don Jr., what are we doing, twin? Like, what are we doing, big guy? Come on. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. We haven't forgot about that, big guy. We have not. But yeah, people can say all they want about Charlie Kirk. I don't think Charlie Kirk ever would have posted that. Especially not this year. Especially not in the Big 25. So, Real Charita asks, I wonder if they make fursuits with detachable flaps for easy access, like Lederhosen? Lederhosen they've got the button like flap at the front. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was just kind of nuts. And I want to give a big thanks to a buddy of mine, Riley Beasley, from the Utah College Republicans, for noticing that. He sent that tweet to me right as it had been posted, and that allowed us to get in on it early. It allowed us to basically say, yeah, this is like totally not what we're down for. Sorry. So big shout out to our boy Riley Beasley. Love that guy. But yeah, that was just something we wanted to go over. Tyler Robinson, for those who don't know, also appeared in court today. It's from the Deseret News. And this is crazy. The man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. You think if it weren't for Candace Owens and Ian Carroll that they would have written that sentence that way, the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk? Appeared in a Provo courtroom on Thursday afternoon where the judge heard arguments on public access to the case. Robinson was charged with aggravated murder and other charges after surrendering to the police on September 11th, a day after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University in Orem. Thursday marks Robinson's first in-person appearance for a hearing open to the public in Utah's 4th District Court. Judge Tony Graff previously issued several media restrictions, including prohibiting any filming or photography of the defendant's shackles. He also granted the defense's request to allow Robinson to wear civilian clothing in the courtroom, in an effort to humanize him, of course. At the hearing, Graff weighed whether the transcript of an earlier hearing would be made public and whether cameras will continue to be allowed in the courtroom. Robinson's attorneys argued that elevated media attention could interfere with the defendant's right to a fair trial. Deseret News, KSL, and others are asking Graff to preserve media access in the case. On Thursday, Graff did not issue a decision about what will be made public or whether cameras will continue to be allowed in the courtroom. So here's the thing. I am against the death penalty. I have been forever. This was actually one of the first issues, and we did a show about this a couple weeks back. It's one of the first issues that I was ever really politically passionate about. It's being anti-capital punishment. That being said, in order to deter more crime, like what happened with Charlie Kirk, his assassination from occurring, the court proceedings must be public. Like, I want Kyle Rittenhouse level access to every single part of the hearings. And this is even more necessary given the fact that it is so easy for these conspiratards like Ian Carroll and Candace Owens to argue from a lack of transparency. And that's the easiest get out of jail free card. Don't have an answer, don't have a motive, don't have an inductive logic chain, don't have reasoning as to how a conspiracy has occurred. Just point out the simple fact that there's not enough transparency. Well, who can argue with that? You could point at literally anything. You could point, like Candace Owens and Ian Carroll have, to the fact that we don't know the exact precise location of Charlie Kirk's tomb as a lack of transparency and something that is suspicious and needs to be investigated, when in reality, as Matt Walsh rightly pointed out, showing where this guy's grave is, his tomb, is only going to stoke the flames of conspiracy more and cause literal grave robbers to go in and dig up his buried remains. Like, there are totally reasonable reasons for some information to remain private. That being said, the overarching proceedings in court must be made absolutely public. If they're not, it will only further, fan the flames of the fire that is the conspiracy around Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination. And it will also minimize the ability of this, justice, the process of justice. It'll minimize the ability or reduce the ability of the process of justice from deterring other people's, inclinations to this kind of violence. That's the bigger problem here, is that if you don't make this trial very public, very open, if you don't show this kid being dragged by a prosecutor, if you don't show the prosecutor making a very clear, reasonable, and obvious case about how Tyler Robinson is the one that killed Charlie Kirk and should go to jail forever, if you don't do that, you're only going to embolden people to commit these kind of crimes again, and you're also going to make it much easier to forget what happened, which is that a left-wing radical murdered a conservative commentator and campus speaker for talking. You know how useful it was for the court of public opinion that we had access to every single detail about the Kyle Rittenhouse case except the evidence that was submitted? You know how important it was that we had access to the testimony of the expert witnesses that were brought up? You know how important it was that we saw the drone and the surveillance footage during the Kyle Rittenhouse case? And you know how easily that kind of information that comes out during proceedings in court, you know how easy it would be for that process to debunk so many of the baseless, stupid conspiracy theories that people like Candace and Ian Carroll are engaging with? You know how easy that would be? And so if the judge doesn't make this a public case, it will have been such a bad decision. It will have been such a misstep. And it will have been like just this totally wasted opportunity to finally shut some idiots on the internet up. Like, goodness gracious. And again, it's so easy to make a conspiracy out of everything when you can just point out that there's a lack of transparency. Even if that lack of transparency is totally legitimate, like in the case of where Charlie's body is entombed, even if it's totally legitimate, the amount of like privacy that exists and the lack of transparency, it is still so easy for a conspiratard to point out the fact that there's a lack of transparency and make some kind of accusation out of it, even if it does not actually produce any kind of claim or motive or anything like that, or evidence. So, yeah, you want to give Ian Carroll and Candace Owens ammunition? Make it a private hearing. Make it a closed hearing. That is the easiest way to stoke and fan the flames of conspiracy surrounding this case. Like, it drives me nuts. The fact that this hasn't been decided, ridiculous. So, anyway.
We love.
Hold on. Also, what the heck is the point of not showing the shackles? Let me look this up, actually, because I don't want to be stupid about this. Why do court... why are criminals' shackles not shown in court? I'm going to see if there's an easy answer to this. The use of visible shackles during court proceedings is restricted because it can undermine the presumption of innocence. That's gay. That's kind of what I imagine it would be. It's like you're leading the witness. You're leading the jury. But that's gay and retarded. Anyway. Let's see. Over the past 3 months, news surrounding Kirk's assassination has been front and center in the media, and Robinson's counsel expressed concerns that this could taint a potential jury. We don't want the chaos that is out in the media in this courtroom, so whatever court can do to prevent this is what we're asking, Visor said. I believe she's the defense attorney. Michael Judd, an attorney for the Media Coalition, rebutted Visor's concerns, arguing that the pretrial publicity order would be an unlawful prior restraint on speech. True. Anyway. Let's see. Since Kirk's assassination was witnessed by the 3,000 people in attendance at his UVU event, the video of the killing was circulated online. Graff clarified in a ruling, and I believe that's the judge, yeah, Tony Graff. Judge Graff clarified in a ruling that the word witness in the publicity order applies to all witnesses who are part of the prosecution and defense teams. So not everybody that saw it. Just the witnesses that are part of the defense and the prosecution teams. Can you imagine? Could you imagine if Candace Owens and Ian Carroll begin like feeding information to the defense attorney? It is actually really funny. Like we do have to reflect on that every once in a while. That Candace Owens and Ian Carroll have become, ironically, the biggest defenders of the man that killed Charlie Kirk. They may as well be his defense attorneys. They're practically, they're doing a great job at it, actually. Hold on, have you guys been hearing double this entire time and you didn't tell me? Oh, no, never mind. We're good. Anyway, that drives me nuts. Like, unironically, they have been the best defense attorneys with their obfuscation, with their what's the word for that? What is the verb? Conspiring? They're conspiring. But it's not really conspiring. It's with their conspiracizing. That's not a word. There's no way that's a word. Conspiracizing? Am I retarded, guys? Conspiratorializing? I don't know. Like editorializing? Anyway, they've already messed up this whole case far more than a defense attorney could ever wish. So, yeah. That's kind of where we're at with that. But hey, let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into the anonymous letter that I received the other day, which actually holds some reference in it. Theorizing, that's a good word for that. Thank you, Ksenia. Thank you. No, not conspiring, because conspiring is it's like making the conspiracy. They're theorizing. With their conspiracy theorizing. That's what I should have said. That's what it is. Anyway, we'll read over this. This was sent, again, in unmarked mail, stamped with a red urgent notice from Salt Lake. So we'll start. I love the condescending tone it begins with. And I thought this was directed to me, but other students have also received this this same letter. So I'm writing to you with respect, not to argue, but to speak to the part of you that is thoughtful, fair-minded, and actually trying to live the values we were raised with. Already insufferable. Hey, ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT. Can you write me up something that is political in nature, extremely condescending, and yet attempts to appeal to the better nature of conservative people? This is what you get. And you know it's ChatGPT, by the way, because check that out. Boop. There's the extended hyphen right there. Ba, 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 ba. That break. Could have used a comma, but ChatGPT does that. They always throw in that hyphen. Yeah, nice try. That's how I know it's ChatGPT. Anyway, so you've got an appeal in the first sentence to the values that we were raised with. Any M dashes? Yep, there's the M dash. There it is. We belong to a generation that inherited challenges no other generation faced. School shootings, climate anxiety, an economy that keeps collapsing under us, student debt that never seems to shrink, and an internet that exposes every injustice adults used to hide. Older people call us too sensitive or too political, but what they call sensitivity is simply us seeing reality clearly. What they call entitlement is just our need for basic stability. I love these words. Basic, clearly, seeing reality clearly. We are not fragile. We are responding to a world we didn't break. I like that part. That's good rhetoric, actually. I use the M dash normally. Is it over? Sure you do. Sure you do. No, I like M dashes too, but it's like, you gotta know. You gotta know that they use ChatGPT. The M dash is a classic ChatGPT strat. Now you English majors might disagree with me. You might think they're based, but it is a ChatGPT thing. Yeah, if I see a semicolon in here, it's over for these crackers. It is so over for these libtard, yuppie Salt Lake crackers. Anyway, we are not fragile. Looks like somebody is fragile. Looks like somebody got upset that they were called a snowflake by their uncle at Thanksgiving. Fragile snowflake. I actually hate that so much. Yeah, quote, Gen Z isn't soft. We're the last generation to put up with your bigotry. It's like, yeah, shut the flip up, dude. You are not Captain America. Anyway, in bold, that's why the voices we choose to follow matter. A lot of people our age listen to Charlie Kirk. And his death was tragic, M dash. Heartbreaking, unfair, and undeserved. Nothing I'm saying erases that. I also love the fact that this is written in first person, as if there wasn't a whole team. These people think they're Helmut Hubener. These people think that they are like this young guy in Nazi Germany who wrote anti-Nazi propaganda and distributed it. My brother in Christ, my sister in Christ, this is a girl that wrote it, so my sister in Christ, you are not Helmut Hubener, okay? You're not fighting the evil, wicked Nazis by pulling the typewriter out of your church and making, these red leaflets to, wage war against the Third Reich. You use ChatGPT to write a condescending letter, and then you send it in anonymous mail to a bunch of college students, okay? You are not Helmut Hubener. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and commas aren't dramatic enough. You need the M dash in there. Heartbreaking, unfair, undeserved. Pull out the thesaurus while you're at it. Nothing I'm saying here erases that. But, and you love that. And you love, ooh, I love that. You gotta love when they hit you with that, nothing I'm saying erases that. But that freaking, what is that guy's name? Adam from Adam Ruins Everything. But tragedy doesn't erase responsibility, and grief doesn't rewrite truth. Stay with me now. Tragedy doesn't erase responsibility, and grief doesn't rewrite truth. This level of condescension drives me nuts. Anyway, we'll keep reading. Charlie Kirk made statements that many people experience as racist and sexist. This is the part that, like, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting this a lot, but it's like we've moved past actual physical harm. We've moved past intention. Like, we've moved past things being racist and sexist. We've moved into the third degree, which is now simply that things that are said are being experienced in a racist or sexist way. Well, you can experience literally anything in a racist or a sexist way, okay? Like, that doesn't prove a thing. You experienced it as racist? Well, how does that prove that it was racist? And why are we putting your experience on top of the importance of a thing actually being what you purport to say it is? Like, why does your experience matter? It doesn't. It literally doesn't. You want to talk to me about things that are racist or sexist? I'll roll my eyes, but then I'll hear you out. They could be. And I don't believe in discriminating against anybody. I don't believe in hatred. I don't believe in racial hatred. I don't believe in gender-based hatred, sex-based hatred, except for hating people who have sex. That's a joke. But you're going to come at me with this, like, he said things that people experienced as racist or sexist? Oh my goodness, give me a break. This is insane. Anyway, even his defenders usually end up saying he didn't mean it that way, which is basically admitting the words sound discriminatory. It's like, bro, yeah, that's okay, dude. It's like things can sound bad and not be bad. Did you know that? Did you know that somebody's intent when they say things matters? And their intent could be far removed from the way you interpret it. And did you know that you actually, if you're easy to offend, if you are easily offended, you can interpret a whole host of things dramatically different than the way they are intended, and it will make you a much, much less happy person. I actually had an experience with that today. I was doing a TikTok debate, and I kept mentioning I debated Adam Mockler, and I said, yeah, I was debating this liberal college dropout. And this girl, she was a woman, this like 40-year-old woman who has this TikTok account, was debating. She jumps in the live stream and she said, well, if you hate him, you can talk to me because I am a liberal college graduate and I'm a Christian. And I'm like standing there perplexed, like, lady, what's your problem? Like, I hadn't said anything. I had not even made an argument. And I'm like, wait, what's your issue? And she's like, well, you just keep calling him a liberal college dropout. And I'm like, lady, the Jubilee video I did was titled One Liberal College Dropout versus 20 Conservative College Students. Adam Mockler himself refers to himself as a liberal college dropout. But here you are taking offense. And that's just one way, that's just one tiny, simple proof that the way that things are heard is not as important as the way that they are meant. And if you are very prone to being offended, if you are prone to offense, you're going to live an unhappy life. So anyway, we'll continue. This is where we get into the evidences. I love this. Here's the snapshot. Statement. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. That's just like such a stupid cherry pick quote. It's like, and I love, they explain it. If this whole thing wasn't condescending enough for you, they're about to explain to you why it's problematic, in case you didn't get it. Common defense. Critique of DEI, not race. Why excuses don't work. They literally put it in a table. They put it in a table. They put the statement, the common defense, and then why it doesn't work. This is rich. Why excuses don't work. I love that. Reinforces racial doubt and implicit bias. You know what actually reinforces racial doubt? Hiring people on the basis of their race rather than their merit. That is what reinforces racial doubt. The racial doubt that Charlie is proposing, is a reflection of the racial doubt that is imposed through DEI policies that look not at the merit of an individual, but at their race. Like, do you not get this? Is this like, okay. Anyway, next statement. They don't have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. Parentheses, Reed, Obama, Lee, Jackson. Which Lee? Like Mike Lee? Who are we talking about? This is a critique of affirmative action, is the common defense. Why excuses don't work. Still insults high-achieving black women and reinforces toxic stereotypes. We'll move on. Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. Common defense, bureaucratic criticism. It's also just like constitutionally terrible. Like terrible constitutional precedent. Anyway, why excuses don't work. Ignores the historic necessity of civil rights protections. That's just your opinion. Like, these are just two conflicting analyses of the Constitution and the decisions of the Supreme Court. Like, what do you mean why excuses don't work? You just disagree. You literally just disagree. Anyway, and the point is not even about, like, Charlie Kirk is not saying that, you know, protection for black Americans, like to get jobs or to not be discriminated against. He's not saying that that's terrible. He's saying that the Civil Rights Act created poor constitutional precedent, which is true. But anyway, next, great replacement strategy, ... to replace white rural America. Common defense, immigration theory. It's like, bro, it's literally just happening. That is literally just, it's like if you look at any demographic measure over time, that's literally just happening. Anyway, why excuses don't work. Mirrors white nationalist rhetoric and stokes racial fear. Okay, never mind. It could even be true. They're not saying it's not true. They're not saying that. They're not saying that it is false that white rural Americans are being driven out of their communities through mass migration, the expansion of Section 8 housing in urban areas, urban centers. They're not saying that. They're not saying, that it is not true that the Obama administration specifically was looking at the diversity of certain neighborhoods when deciding where to place Section 8 housing. They're not saying any of that is wrong. They're not denying any of it. They're just saying that the excuse doesn't work. It's not an excuse. It's like, this is just literally the case. Like, it's true. It's observably, patently true. But the excuse doesn't work because it mirrors white nationalist rhetoric and stokes racial fear. Okay, yeah, nice. Next statement. This is one I hadn't heard before. Prowling blacks, ... target white people. Common defense, it is crime framing. Why excuses don't work. Dehumanizing and statistically false. Oh, really? Okay. You want to talk about statistics? That's the first time I've heard a Democrat want to talk about statistics. Anyway, we'll move on. Some people say these are anti-DEI, not racist, but words matter. Words. That's what's up. That is what's up. Looks like the lyrics ran out, I think, at that last part. But if the studio was big enough, fellas, I'd take a knee. And it's, frankly, this patriotism, it just shows that despite things that might have been said, perhaps by roommates in past videos, it shows that really we're about a spirit of uniting, okay? This is a spirit of love. In fact, perfect timing, because this is in support, okay, of these terribly out of context quotes, okay? So how about that? You want to talk to me about the way that things are perceived? Could you perceive that? Could you perceive that beautiful chorus in a way other than understanding the love behind it, okay? You want to talk to me about discrimination? You want to talk to me about stoking racial fear? Did that produce any fear? Or did that produce a deep sense of patriotism and love, okay, for your neighbor? Because, hey, your neighbor, he's Charlie Kirk too, okay? So, Just want to make that clear. Just want to make that clear. I don't know what video game those guys are playing, but it's got them motivated. W roommates? Can we get W roommates in the chat? Can we get divine intervention? Dude, did you guys hear the angels on high singing just now, or was that just me? Guys, did you hear that heavenly chorus? Guys, was that just... Yo, guys, do I have music playing in the background, guys? My bad. My apologies. Anyway, we'll continue. Words shape culture. Words either honor people or degrade them. And if we excuse racist comments from political influencers while cheering for black athletes on Saturday or quoting black creators on TikTok, that is in bold, hypocrisy. Bro, what? Are we serious right now? Are you saying I can't support Charlie Kirk? I can't like Charlie Kirk and the Green Bay Packers? Like, I can't support Charlie Kirk and, the Lakers because there's black people who play on professional basketball teams? Are we serious right now? Like this is insane. This is actually, crazy. That is hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy. Dude, next time I'm watching the game with my friend that watches Charlie Kirk compilations on YouTube, as soon as an upstanding African-American gentleman scores a touchdown, I'm going to take a look and I'm just going to stare at him. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, what would Charlie Kirk have said about that? Was he a DEI hire too? Anyway. Dude, this mate's busting, man. Yeah, okay, can I get an I am Charlie Kirk in the chat real quick? Can everybody post up I am Charlie Kirk in the chat real quick? There it is, guys. Post that up in the chat real quick. Everybody, I am Charlie Kirk. I want that in the chat. I'm not going to continue the stream until I see every single person typing that in the chat. Please. Quoting black creators on TikTok? Who quotes black creators on TikTok? Like, even past just the ridiculousness of the sentence, who the freak is quoting black creators on TikTok? What's going on here, guys? I'm sorry. Anyway, that is hypocrisy. The same kind of moral inconsistency Christ explicitly condemned. Christ said, now, I don't want to be blasphemous, but he once said, "Thou shalt not watch Charlie Kirk videos and the Super Bowl." That's true. Next quote. We grew up being taught that name-calling is wrong, cruelty is wrong, and judging people by race is wrong. Kids learn this by age 5, so why should adults, M dash, especially people in leadership, M dash, be held to a lower standard than kindergartners? Huh? How about that, huh? Ever think about the fact that a kindergartner doesn't understand crime statistics? That's a joke. I gotta do the Norm Macdonald though. Like it's what, Weekend Report? What's that guy's? Is that what it was called? Weekend Report? I don't know. I don't watch SNL. We'll continue. The Savior wasn't vague about this, and also I would be very interested to see if the person that wrote this is actually religious, because what happens all the time is that the faith of people, in Utah in particular, is weaponized in order to debilitate them politically. What would Jesus have said about abortion? You don't want me to support Republican candidates? Okay. Who am I going to support? Nate Blewin in Utah, who cheers on kids in drag, saying that kid's got moves? That kid is doing the splits in front of adults, dressed in drag. You want me to vote for that? You think that Jesus Christ is more condoning of that? And this is not to say that racism is good and that it can be brushed off. It's not. Genuine racial hatred is absolutely not okay. But this idea, oh great, the police are, I don't know if you guys can hear the sirens. They might have heard the singing. It might be over, guys. It might be over. They caught us watching the Super Bowl and also excusing racist comments from political influencers. They're going to arrest us. Weekend Update, that's what it was. Yeah. Anyway, this, is just... What was I even saying? Yeah, the weaponization of Christianity, particularly in Utah by liberals, in order to get Republicans to not vote for conservative candidates. Yeah, well, what's the alternative, big guy? And this is not to excuse it, right? Because one of my big issues with Trump is the impropriety. It is the sexual misconduct. It is all that stuff. I don't propose that we minimize that, we diminish it, anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is that your alternative, the person that wrote this, their alternative, as we'll get to in just a minute, is Nate Blue and a guy that sexualizes kids, or Ben McAdams, who is pro-choice. So, which one is it, huh? Which one's worse? Which one's worse? Things that you experience as racist or sexist, or killing literally like a third of my generation in the womb? Which one of those things is probably worse? I'll let you decide. We'll continue. The Savior wasn't vague about this. By their fruits ye shall know them, was not political advice. M-. It was a commandment. If someone produces fruits of division, cruelty, or contempt, that matters. Or, my bad. If somebody produces fruits of division, cruelty, or contempt, that matters. And the restoration has always been clear about accountability for the voices we amplify. Here's the real reason our generation cares. We've seen what hypocrisy does. Okay, well now we're getting into it. And guys, hey, brief intermission. If you guys do want to support the show, be sure to hop on over to powerchat.live/kaiclips. Send in your super chat. We'll go over them right at the end of the show. Speak of the devil, of the angel. Speak of the angel. We just got a super chat actually from Jake Mormon, who says, what was your experience with music growing up LDS? Favorite band? I listened to a lot of 80s music. Around end of middle school into early high school, I listened to a lot of rap music. I didn't experience a lot of rap when I was younger, probably because of my LDS upbringing. And my dad and mom never listened to music with swear words, which I think very positively influenced the kind of music that I listened to. That's a good question. My favorite band in general, Hall & Oates, probably. Right behind them, Men I Trust, the Marias. As a part of my preparation for my mission, and also coincidentally, the timing just kind of coincided, I began to listen to more music that was, it was much less rap, because I realized that rap had a negative effect on my soul. But also, I just got into more indie music, like some chill music. So indie is most of what I listen to right now. Puma Blue is another artist that I love. I adore this guy. I might be seeing him in Chicago in a couple of months. Anyway, we'll continue. Here's the real reason our generation cares. We've seen what hypocrisy does. People our age aren't leaving churches because they stop believing in God. They kind of are, actually. It's like, yeah, that's actually kind of like a really big deal. It's either that or like they read the CES letter and they don't want to be religious. So I think that's just like patently false. Anyway, we'll continue. Or they believe in some kind of God, but a God that is just like going to condone and be fine with whatever you do. They believe in that kind of God, and that's like, not the Christian God at all. Anyway, they're leaving because they stopped believing in adults who preach one thing and defend the opposite. People leaving church because of hypocritical church members? Oh my gosh. Dude, you want to talk about like holding adults accountable, or at least holding them up to the level of kindergartners? It's like leaving the church because there's people in the church who aren't perfect, or who may go to church on Sundays but still sin during the week. That's like the most childish thing you can do. A person who cannot conceptualize that the membership in the church is imperfect, has their agency, and will be hypocritical, and still remain in the church, a person that can't do that is a kindergartner. It is a child. I was talking to a guy in that same debate live stream today. He left the church when he was 13 because of hypocrisy. And it's like, dude, if you spend so much time looking at the other people in church in order to decide whether or not you should stay there, you miss the entire point. You miss the entire point. And there was an interesting thing that I was reading for a class this week. Have you ever thought, people say all the time, they think all the time, the church is the place where I am going to find love, forgiveness, Christian virtues, like sanctity. I'm going to find righteousness there. Have you ever stopped for a minute and thought, maybe the church, or at least the organization, the worldly organization of the church, maybe instead of being all those things already, maybe it's going to demand them of you more. Maybe you're going to have more demand placed on you for forgiveness, for charity, for service, for loving kindness. Maybe you're going to be forced to love more than you expect. Maybe you're going to be forced to forgive more than you'd like in church, more than you are going to exist in a space where all of that is already abundant. Church is not a place you go because it's the easiest place to be. Church is difficult. The church is going to require more forgiveness of you than you probably imagined you need. You ever think about it that way? Or do you just go to church because it's something that's just good for you? And it's not to say that church isn't good for you. It absolutely is. It's a refuge for the soul on many occasions, but it is also a refiner's fire. So, anyway, that's just a cool tangent. Stop thinking about going to church for you. Go to church for Christ, okay? And if church demands that you emulate and begin to work on Christ-like attributes more than you were comfortable, then accept that and allow it to change you for the better. But we'll keep going. Every time someone excuses immorality because he's on our side, the credibility of religion and the stability of democracy break a little more. People, okay, I don't know. There's just this conflation in this letter of church attending individuals and political views. And that bugs me. Again, your faith should inspire your politics, not the other way around. But I think this person is seeing it only the other way around. And that's not to say there's not people who engage with it the other way around. And it's not to say that people suspend their religiosity. It's not to say that people don't suspend their religiosity in order to justify political things. I think that's true. I think a lot of people they become so concerned with the politically pragmatic that they forget about the religious necessity and the importance of religious morality. Haha, Ksenia just pulled up with a banger in the chat. Quote, "I die for Jesus." Yeah, awesome. Okay, how about you live for him? That's based. All right, anyway. We'll keep going. Moments before he was shot at Utah Valley University, Charlie Kirk was asked a question that could have been straightforward, or that should have been straightforward. Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Here's the second half. Double-sided pages, by the way. Kirk's answer, too many, was not data. Oh, Kirk's answer, M-, quote, too many, and quote, M-, was not data. It was a signal. The real number, what the heck kind of signal? What are you talking about? Anyway, the real number, according to the Gun Violence Archive, is 5. Out of thousands of mass shootings over the last decade, 5 were committed by transgender or non-binary people. Less than 0.1%. Yet his choice of words carried the weight of something much larger. Quote, too many sounded like a crisis, not context. It implied that a small number represented a broader pattern, and that the problem was not just behavior, but identity itself. This is true. This, concerning the statistics, is accurate. As a proportion of total gun violence, of total mass shootings, trans people have committed relatively few. However, there's an important addendum here. You have to measure these things per capita. There are significantly fewer transgender people than there are just other heterosexual or, heteronormative kids in school. Also, Jake, the super chats are coming in, and we're going to get to them in just a second. I'm going to finish up the bit, and then we'll jump into all the super chats in the next portion. I just want you to know so you don't feel the need to resend any of them. Anything that comes in, it is coming in, and we're going to get to all of them in the next segment. So feel free to keep sending if you want them stockpiled, if you want to get into the line early. But yeah. Hey, Dr. Jason, appreciate you. The mustache has a lot of mixed reviews, and I'm thinking about cutting it next week, but I really like it. I also feel though that it makes me more evil. I feel like I become more callous, less empathetic when I have a mustache. Maybe it's like the way that a mask causes this idea of de-individuation to occur, where you feel less responsibility. It's almost as if I'm wearing a mask. Which is why, hey, that's why those disguises always have a mustache. Somebody should study that. Somebody should study that. Oh my goodness. I need a drink of water, dude. My throat always gets so dry. Yo, look who we got in the chat. There's the postman himself. Postman. Dude, there's so many songs that say postman in them. I was just listening to one by Skepta where he's like, pull up on your block like the postman. You just got to use those for your stream, just as intro music. I was thinking about you. Anyway, we'll dive back in. We're reading a letter that was anonymously mailed to me. So yeah, regarding shootings, it is true that regarding the statistics of gun violence, very few, as a quantity, as a proportion of total gun violence, very few mass shootings are committed by trans people. But you have to understand that there is a very small trans population. And when we analyze, shootings, like you'd have to compare the number of like heterosexual kids there are with the number of them who become shooters with the number of trans kids there are and the number of them that become shooters. So that's, and I'm not saying necessarily that the statistics bear out in my favor. I don't know if they do, but that is a more honest way of dealing with these statistics rather than just giving a numerical value. We'll continue. That framing suggesting a vague but grave threat. That framing, M- suggesting a vague but grave threat, M- is more powerful than a false statistic. It plants an idea that fear, not evidence, should guide policy. And in recent months, that seed of rhetoric has begun to sprout in government soil. I'm not asking you to hate Charlie Kirk. They're reasonable, see? They're not asking that we hate Charlie Kirk, because why would we hate ourselves? Am I right? Up top, guys. That's what's up. Anyway, I'm not asking you to pretend his death wasn't devastating. Trust me, I believe it was devastating. I'm asking you for something simpler. Enter. What would you, new paragraph? I don't know. What do you even call that? An indent? It's not an indent. New paragraph. Look at the pattern. Look at the words. Look at the impact. Period. New paragraph. If a Democrat said those things, you'd condemn them. Said what? Like if a Democrat said that trans people commit a lot of mass shootings, like what? What? I don't think Republicans are that bad yet. I don't think Republicans are so bad that they'll call out Democrats for like bringing up crime statistics. So I'm going to press X to doubt on that one. Anyway, if a roommate said them, you'd call them out. Again, not sure about that. Hypocrisy is not ours to ignore, and all people have value. Who's disputing this? Who is disputing this, dude? Like what? New line? Yeah, I guess that's what we call it. So hold everyone, M-, including people you once admired, M-, to the same standard you'd hold yourself to. Not because society demands it, but because our faith does. Again, this assumption, our faith. It's like this was being sent out to students around Provo and Orem in particular, likely as a means of convincing college students who go to religious universities. This is deceptive, and I'm fairly certain it wasn't written by a member of the church. Or if it was, I'd like to interrogate that member of the church and ask what they think about abortion, what they think about Nate Bluin's comments concerning a kid dressed in drag doing the splits in front of adults. Because Nate Bluin said that kid's got moves. And I wish Nate Bluin would move his way down onto the county jail. Anyway, where were we? Not because you owe anything to anyone, but because you owe integrity to your own conscience. I don't think I would come up with a more condescending sentence. That's impressive. We'll continue. Older generations throw labels at us. but every stereotype says more about their fears than our flaws. Aren't you like creating an enemy out of the older generations? Aren't you doing exactly what you told us not to do in this same letter? Aren't you villainizing older generations and causing fear? Like, aren't you like pitting us against each other? Let's be honest, our generation has been asked to survive things no one prepared us for. We grew up doing lockdown drills instead of recess. That's not true. We did both. Okay? Like, let's not be dramatic. Also, the lockdown drills were always just kind of based because you could think about, like, I don't know, if you're a guy and you're in a lockdown drill, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, there's a stick over there. I'm going to break the stick in half. I'm going to grab the stick, and if a shooter comes in, I'm going to stab him in the jugular. If you're a guy, that's what you're thinking. If you're a guy, the lockdown drills were like an opportunity to role play what being James Bond was like. Okay? If you're a guy, the lockdown drills were kind of based. And if you're literally anybody, like, what are you going to get mad at? Earthquake drills? Anyway. We watched adults scream about freedom while ignoring the trauma written all over our nervous systems. Shut the flip up. What? I'm sorry. We watched adults scream about freedom while ignoring the trauma written all over our nervous systems. Brother. We entered college in the middle of economic collapse, climate crisis, political chaos, and a housing market designed to keep us out. And after all that, older generations still expect us to vote exactly like they do, as if their choices didn't help create the mess we're standing in. This is Democrats pitting young people against older people. This is Democrats stoking fear in the hearts of young people and hatred against their boomer parents. That's all that is. And look, the boomers get stuff wrong, but I hate this idea of, like, vote Democrat because your parents didn't. Cringe, dude. You guys think I can make it into college if I write a letter like this? I mean, I'm in college, but you think I could make it into Harvard if I based a letter on this? Oh, hold on. Getting the producer. Oop. I'm getting a text from my buddy. All right, we'll keep going. So painfully self-aggrandizing. Literally, dude. I don't know, where were we? But here's the part they never saw coming. This reads like a movie trailer. But here's the part they never saw coming. In bold, we are not them. Period. New line. We don't owe their fear our loyalty. Period. New line. We don't owe their politics our future. Bro, this is not a Marvel movie. Cut out the corny stuff. You know what would be infinitely better than this? A page full of crime statistics. That's more convincing than this letter. You want to know what's more convincing than this letter? Literally just an infographic about, like, the global population of European people over the last 50 years. The total fertility rate in every single major country, besides Africa. Africa's not a country. I know that. The countries in Africa, let me be clear, so that nobody thinks I'm retarded. And here's the kicker. Yeah. Here's the kicker. Anyway, we owe ourselves the chance to live in a country where healthcare doesn't bankrupt us, where rent doesn't swallow half our income, where wages actually mean something, and where leaders who quote Jesus actually live like him, with compassion, humility, honesty, and love instead of cruelty and power games. And hey, look, I'm not against people living like Jesus. Does that mean I have to vote Democrat? Oh man, I actually do want to live like Jesus. You're right. I shouldn't vote like my parents. I should vote for the pro-choice candidate. That's a good idea. I agree with you, anonymous person that sent me this letter. That certainly has my best interests at heart. Of course. Let's be clear. Cruelty is not strength. Mocking people isn't leadership. Racism, sexism, and manipulation aren't just jokes. They could be. Anyway, we know better because we've lived the consequences in real time. The moral clarity our generation carries, M-, the one they call sensitive, M-, is actually the one that can save this country from repeating its worst mistakes. It's actually not. The moral clarity that is being called sensitive is the thing that's actually going to cause this country to stagnate. It is the thing that is tearing down the statues of the founding fathers. It is what is putting us in this stupid cycle of lashing ourselves, of this self-flagellation, this self-harm, this national and civilizational self-harm in order to, act as a penance for our sins. That's what that moral clarity has done. That moral clarity has caused white people, has caused men to hate themselves. That moral clarity has bankrupted any source of meaning because it has stripped God of his place in our society. That's what that moral clarity has done, because you're only a few steps removed from saying that organized religion as a whole is a problem. And that, by the way, is the argument made on the first page. The first page did not, in fact, argue in favor of a return to churches. I did not, in a single page here, see any kind of support, actually, for organized religion. Although that might be implied, it's not at all what the author intends. The author intends to say, look, people are leaving churches because of hypocrisy. And that's valid, and that's totally valid and real and true. And yeah, more people should do that. The author of this letter does not like organized religion. That is my assumption. Anyway, here's the truth. When young people vote, period, this is all in bold. When young people vote, period, extremists lose, period. Every period, single period, time, period. All in bold. Not because we're left or right. Really? 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 No, you're not left at all. But because we choose reality over delusion. Are you totally and absolutely sure about that? I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to lock in that answer? Are you totally and completely positive that you do not want to phone a friend? Are you totally, look, man, are you totally and completely convinced that you do not want to call a friend just in case? You don't even want a second opinion? Are you sure? I'm just saying. Are you completely and totally positive that you guys are not left, not right? And that you choose reality over delusion? Are you completely and totally positive about that? I just don't want you to make any mistakes. Okay, you're going to lock it in? Wrong. And a livable future over chaos. The first generation in American history that are worse off than their parents. Take that in. Okay. Did you take that in? Let that sink in. Let that sink in right now. So this is our moment, period. Not to vote the way our parents want. Again, that issue. Not to mimic our echo chambers. Second page here. Luckily, this one's not double-sided. But to vote like people who know our lives, our mental health, our safety, and our future actually matter. I'd never thought about that. I'd never thought about voting like my future actually matters. I'd actually never even considered that. You're telling me now for the first time, huh? Man, this is guys, I don't want to be a Republican anymore. I'd always voted without thinking about my future and the fact that it actually mattered. I've been convinced otherwise. ChatGPT really convinced me. I'm over here like Dr. Mike Israetel, breaking down in tears, talking about how I had this life-changing conversation with AI. Register, period. Show up, period. Vote with a conscience that belongs only to you. One day, when your kids or nieces or students ask what you did during this chaotic, critical moment in history, you'll be able to say, don't vote like your parents. Sorry, no, that's not what it says. It says, I choose a future. I chose integrity. I chose us. And that dude, this is a Marvel movie script, dude. When your kids walk up and say, "Nana, what did you do to defeat the Nazis? What did you do to defeat Donald Trumpler?" You'll be able to say, "I chose a future. I chose integrity. I chose us." And that choice, M dash, your choice, in italics, M dash, is what will change everything. And then it talks about Utah's gerrymandering. It says, how Utah's gerrymandering became a middle finger to Utah voters. Let's call it what it is. I hate that. I hate that. Oh my goodness, dude. I hate that so much. Let's call it what it is. Utah's gerrymandering was a giant middle finger to the people of Utah. In 2018, voters passed Prop 4. Prop 4 sucks. Because we wanted fair maps and real accountability. So what do you say to the 49.7% of Utah residents that voted against Prop 4? Do they not count? Do they not count? Prop 4 won by 7,000 votes. Like all the people that disagree with Prop 4, do they not count? Do they not count at all? Like, are those just not real people? Because they're not Democrats? This is a letter, Groip, that was anonymously mailed to me. Anyway. Because we wanted fair maps and real accountability. When lawmakers didn't like that outcome, they didn't try to win us over. They just stripped the initiative, weakened the commission, and built new rules designed to protect their own power, almost like a judge going ahead and just, selecting the map, which they have no right to do, actually, constitutionally. Oh, wait, that's what happened, actually, as a result of Prop 4, actually, just a couple months ago. That's crazy. Even after court ruled in 2025 that their rollback of Prop 4 was unconstitutional, the legislature doubled down with SB 1011, a law using tests that functionally block any district where a Democrat could win. They ignored the independent commission, split urban communities, and openly defended the maps in partisan terms. Oh, like what Democrats are doing. You think it's not partisan that Democrats want to create a district, a House district, in the state of Utah that is just the most liberal parts of Salt Lake to make it a plus 20 Democratic district? Are we serious right now? Anyway, we'll continue. The message to voters couldn't be clearer. Your vote only matters, or your vote matters only if it helps us. Which is basically what the people who wrote this letter are saying by disregarding all of the people that voted against Prop 4. Anyway, I don't have a Ring camera, otherwise I'd have that. Florida, what are you saying? Oh, bro. Anyway, what else do we have here? That's not representation. That's not democracy. That's the political establishment telling Utahns to sit down and stop expecting a fair process. I can't with this Reddit. I can't with this Reddit paper, dude. Fact check everything. We all know by now that the mainstream... Hey, fact check this. Article 9, or Section 9, Article 1, or maybe it's the other way around. Article 9, Section 1 of the Utah State Constitution. Tell me who gets to decide the district lines. Tell me who gets to draw them. Tell me who gets to draw district lines in the state of Utah. And spoiler alert, it's not the judiciary... And spoiler alert, it is the legislature. So anyway, where are we at? We all know by now the mainstream media doesn't tell us the whole truth. They sell drama, pick sides, and often ignore the deeper patterns. But our generation is different. We grew up with receipts. We are the best in history at fact-checking, digging up sources, comparing claims, and spotting when someone is spinning us. So let's use that. Fact-check everything. What politicians say about election integrity, what they claim about immigrants, what they tell you about gerrymandering in Utah after voters already passed Prop 4 with $2 million spent from out-of-state Democratic donors and $0 spent in opposition to Prop 4. And the only reason it passed is because it was on the ballot the exact same year as like expansion of Medicare and legalizing medical marijuana, which caused a huge Democrat turnout. Anyway, we'll continue. They argue that the courts should not decide. But why does their voice matter more than ours do? Because the Utah State Constitution says that. It's not just the legislature saying that judges shouldn't decide. It's the Utah State Constitution. Like, what is going on here? What influencers like Charlie Kirk say about race and replacement? What any party insists is just how it is. Don't let anyone, Republican or Democrat, media outlet or megachurch, professor or podcaster, do your thinking for you. Use your own eyes, your own research, your own conscience. If the data doesn't match their story, believe the data. If their words don't match the teachings of Jesus about love, compassion, humility, integrity, believe the teachings. Our job is to hold the moral line, to refuse cruelty, refuse lies, refuse manipulation, and refuse to excuse racism or corruption just because it comes from our side. And if what you find hurts, lean into it. Refuse to accept racism or corruption. Oh, hold on. Not away from it. Not away from it. That pain is information. It's your conscience telling you that what you're seeing matters. Let it sharpen you, not scare you. Because the truth doesn't hide forever. Truth, in bold, truth rises, period. Truth exposes, period. Truth prevails. You hear that? Donald Trump's family has made $11 billion this presidency. But we can't give hungry people food, regardless of where they were born? Then stop wearing Levi's BCBG, Guess, Calvin Klein, Forever 21, Timberland. All immigrants made. Oh, hold on, what? All immigrant made is what I think it's supposed to say. It's not all immigrants made. All immigrant made. Also, that's not even true. It's not made by immigrants. It's made in like sweatshops in China. Like, this stuff isn't even being made by immigrants. These people just like, do immigrants do literally everything in the world? No, this is being made by like Chinese kids in sweatshops, okay? This is being made in India. This is made in Vietnam. My clothes are not made by immigrants in the United States because we don't have industries here, okay? Stop using Garmin. Who uses Garmin? Anyway, iRobot. What the flip even is iRobot? Apple, first-gen American, or driving Tesla, immigrant-made, and many, many more. Spoiler alert, most of those immigrants are not like most of the immigrants occurring today. But anyway, it is a war on our way of life. What do you mean? Whose way of life? We are the fact-check generation. If we use that power, no one gets to hijack our future without a fight. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the anonymous letter that was sent to me. Total slop, total AI garbage. Democrats are not sending their best. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry that took so long. It's already been 2 hours. I think we're going to have to end soon. I think we're going to have to skip over the live reaction. I might do it tomorrow. I might do the live reaction tomorrow, and we will have Schwimmer Saturday. We will have Schwimmer Saturday. So stay tuned. We'll be going live Saturday. We absolutely will. We will be going live Saturday. Stay tuned. Stick with us. Now let's get over our super chats. If you don't want to support the show, I almost typed, I am Charlie Kirk in the chat. Go to powerchat.live /kaiclips to support the show. We'll go to the super chats right now. Whoa, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the super chat portion of the show. What is going on? Hey, great to see you guys. See if there's anything on Rumble first. Rumble and Kick. I don't even know if that... Oh, no, that was Kick. And where is Rumble? Am I not live on Rumble? No, I am. There I am. Who the flip is that? Who's something queen? Oh, no. Police are coming for you because it's illegal for a white boy to have motion? Yep. Boomer reporting for duty. A pesar de llegar tarde, no pasa nada, amigo. Lo quiero un montón. Debunked slop. Slop debunked. We debunked the slop. And, hey, let's read through some of those super chats. We got a super chat from... Where are we? Boom. Jake Mormon. Let me throw on my AirPods here. Let me throw on my headphones here. Bet these are made by immigrants too. Oh. Do you think Hey, bro. Now this is just bug now. Do you think vulgarity and immorality can be tastefully portrayed as a saint in art? And then this is the other one. Can you explain your relationship with music growing up LDS? Did you go through self-discovery as an adolescent as you were exposed to secular music?
Jake Mormon sent $5. Can you explain your relationship with music growing up LDS?
Hey Gerard, good to see you in the chat.
As an adolescent as you were exposed to secular music?
And there's another one. Let's go. We'll read through all of these. We'll address all of them separately. It's just catching up.
Sent $5. Can I show you some of my music? I respect you and would like to see if my art resonates.
Oh, great, dude. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's catching up, and so it's kind of goofed up. All right, there we go. Now we're good. We're good. Okay, so the first one, do you think vulgarity and immorality can be tastefully portrayed as a saint in art? It really depends. I mean, if we're talking immorality like pornography, no. But then there's also an aspect where it's like there's some nudity that's not inherently pornographic. I think that can be tastefully done in art. It's rare, though. And I think within the LDS tradition, it's even more rare. And vulgarity, I don't know, like, as a plot device, I don't think so. I think that I tend to stay away from it, right? It's like, it's that idea. What's the scripture? It says, avoid even the appearance of evil. It's from Timothy? Or Corinthians? Oh, dude, no. Thessalonians. I'm so wrong. Here it is. 1 Thessalonians 5:22, it says, abstain from all appearance of evil. Real. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. So, yeah, the idea of like abstaining even from the appearance of evil is kind of the important element there. I think it's very difficult to do. I can't think of something where it's like immorality and vulgarity used tastefully. Because there's kind of like, it's almost like an ontological separation. Like I do have a little bit of beef with a lot of LDS content creators who do swear a lot. It's like, you know, I just don't get why they do that. I understand there's rationale, there's ways of arguing about how it's acceptable, but it's like, just why would you choose to do that? If you have the choice not to and the choice to do it, why would you not choose not to, you know? Hey, Tice, what's going on? Yeah, you're at the very end of the show. You're in the super chat portion, pal. Sorry, you missed an amazing baller show. We had 1,300 people watching tonight. Let's go. The next super chat Jake sent was, can I show you some of my music? I respect you and would like to see if my art resonates. Yeah, happily, dude. It's like, hey, I'll never turn it down. I'll never turn down checking out what people send me. You're more than welcome to send it to me on Instagram or on Twitter. I always check my DMs. So, yeah, no, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. Send it over. I'll let you know. I'll give you my honest opinion. Swearing occurs when emotions run hot. It's true. But that's exactly what James warns against. It's like you have to bridle your passions. You have to tame the tongue, which is, what does he say? It's as it's an untamable beast or something like that. Let me pull this up. James is so based, dude. All of the epistle of James is so based. Let's go. Is it in the second chapter of James? No, third? Yes. Where is this? It is an unruly evil. The tongue is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Hey, Brenosh, good to see you, my boy. You'll be back tomorrow or Saturday. Great to hear. Hey, great to hear it. So yeah, I think you gotta bridle the passion. You gotta control the tongue, tame it. So I've struggled with not using replacements for curse words. What do you mean not using replacements? It's like I think the replacements are fine because a lot of the time, as much as maybe it's an allusion to something that's bad, it changes the character of it to become like silly. At least that's the way I do it. Like I'll say like what the flip, but it is in its like nature so silly that I think it deconstructs the hateful intent. But that's obviously also something that people disagree with. So there's different takes on that. I mostly only swear in private when I'm really angry, which is an extremely rare event. I actually feel that. Like there are days where I'll play Clash Royale or something and I'll crash out and I'll be swearing. I'm like, hey, I'm good at not swearing in public, but I should probably get better at not swearing in private. Not that I do it frequently. I really don't. I've gotten very good at not swearing, but Jake Mormon also says, can you explain your relationship with music growing up LDS? I explained it a little bit with the first super chat you sent. Did you go through a self-discovery as an adolescent as you were exposed to secular music? Yeah, a little bit. Like, I got really into rap because a lot of people listen to rap, and I came from this perspective. Like, my dad would always say, rap is one letter away from crap. And I was like, so true. Dad, that is so true. But I eventually kind of got into it, and how I originally got into it was through like meme rap. Like we're talking Pink Guy, Getter, these other guys, meme rap, Young Gravy. And I got into that probably just because I thought it was funny. And then eventually like the vulgarity and I even got into like depressing music, Suicide Boys, Poya, Lil Peep, and that kind of music. It actually depressed me significantly. It had a big effect on my mood, so I stopped listening to it. I feel glad to have put it off. But yeah, that's kind of my self-discovery, and then I put it all away. But yeah, couldn't really get myself into rap save for a few songs. I just can't do it. I just can't do it with bad poetry. I totally get that. Didn't you listen to Death Grips? I do. I listen to it more. I listen to Death Grips more in the past. I do listen to them sometimes, but it's like post-mission, I've calmed down a lot on the music I listen to as well. I thought it was going to be too difficult to cut out bad music, but it's actually pretty easy. It is not as difficult as I thought it would be. And then if I was ever exposed to secular music, oh yeah. It's like I listen to secular Mormon, or secular Mormon. I was reading your username, Jake Mormon. I listen to secular music all the time. Like in my household, the majority of the music we listened to was secular. Like we were not one of the families that has hymns playing all the time. It's not to like counter signal the hymns, but it's like, no, we listen to secular music. Like I had a radio. I listened to everything on the radio all the time. The good thing is that it censored the swear words. But I wasn't exposed to a lot of music that had swear words because my parents never listened to music that was, explicit. They wouldn't let me buy music that was explicit. I remember that I wanted to buy the song I'm Sexy and I Know It on iTunes way back when you did that. And my parents said no. My parents were like, yeah, probably not. Good on them. Good on my parents. So yeah, I did not have exposure to a lot of like the more negative secular music. It's a good question. And I'm thankful for it. Like I had some buddies, like their parents would listen to music with swear words. And so when I was with them, it was like kind of cool because it was like, I could listen to some music that I would listen to in private, but that I couldn't listen to with my parents. But then in hindsight, it was just kind of weird. It's kind of weird to like hear. It really bothers me when I see people's parents swearing. That actually really drives me nuts because my parents never did. So yeah, that's kind of the take there. But hey, we'll wait just another minute in case there's any last super chats coming in. Send the link out again. Secular music was normal in my family, and my parents never had to regulate the music I listened to because most of the secularists had no words or were in other languages. Yeah, exactly. It's like I listened to a lot of dubstep when I was younger. I listened to a lot of dubstep. I love that stuff. Dude, that stuff was based. Shashank, what's up, pal? And yeah, who we got in the chat? Tice, good to see you, friend. Again, my parents never did growing up, but my dad has started to a bit more as we've gotten older. Yeah, same here. It's like my parents do it a little bit more now, though. But it was funny because I would, like, when they do it around me, especially post-mission, they got really guilty. Like, they would feel really guilty about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. You should feel guilty about it. You're swearing around a returned missionary. Cut that out. It's crazy to me, like, when missionaries would swear. They don't really, but it's like every once in a while one would let it slip, and it was like, what did you say, Elder? I don't know if I can say this, actually. I don't know if this is a story I can tell on stream. There was a really funny thing that happened when I was in the MTC that may involve a slur and repentance, and immediate repentance. But yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, hey, it's been legendary. I think we're going to have to postpone the reaction stream for a different day. But thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in on Saturday, 7 p.m. MST. We're going to be live. We'll do that reaction stream. We're going to have a great time. I've got finals tomorrow, so wish me luck. But hey, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. We'll be in touch. But till then, but for tonight, I should say rather, we are out of time.